Two college radio DJs during the 90s, hosts Keith and Steve, helped expose bands like Nirvana, Pavement, and PJ Harvey. They went to shows, interviewed musicians, and reviewed albums for various designs and papers. They worked security at concerts and once even did load-in for Fish. Now, they're dads. Whether you want to explore lesser-known music or take a trip down memory lane, tune into the new Dad Rock. Join hosts Keith and Steve as they navigate the ages together, sharing their love of music across various eras and genres. Always well-intentioned, often well-informed, seldom boring, the new Dad Rock will expand your mind.
Freedom of the body, a freedom of the mind.
Keep the spirit of 76 alive and keep on rocking.
That's what we would like to do on the new Dad Rock.
Freedom. Wait, that's a...
Yeah, well, it's a free country, man. And freedom, like 1776.
Okay.
Of the body. Oh!
Freedom of the mind.
We're going to start getting into, we're going to wean some royalties.
Because it was so close.
Or they're going to send a cease and desist order because we're so bad.
No, I did think of that song as we were putting this show together, though.
The show.
But before we go any deeper into 76, do you know what the Lizard's up to?
Look, we've been updating the Lizard every week for like 7 weeks now. I'm kind of shooting blanks at this point. So I'm going to wrap it up. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard are from Australia. And next year, they're going to be touring the United States. While they're touring the United States, over in Australia is going to be Iron Maiden, continuing another year of their Days of Future Past tour, which combines their most recent album, Senjutsu, and their 1986 release, Somewhere in Time, plus other classics.
Sounds
going
horrible.
to Australia.
Sounds like
I'm honestly, I don't even think I'm going to go to this tour if it comes to the States.
You're totally going. You're okay. We'll just mark that down. I'll take that bet. You're totally going to the show. They're going to play somewhere on Long Island that's weird, closer to you, not the city, and you're going to buy a ticket last minute, and you're going to be there.
Yeah. I mean, the last time they came around, they played Long Island. They played UBS Arena, which is huge, by the way, and awesome.
Like Stony Brook's like basketball arena or whatever?
No, it's where the Islanders play. It's like 19,000 people. It's huge and shiny and nice.
Because it's new.
And they filled that place. But I bought that day of the show.
It's different than the Nassau Coliseum, which is what I went to as a kid, right? It was built in the parking lot.
Yeah, different location and way nicer.
Wait, different location,
it's by Belmont. It's in Elmont, but by the Belmont Stakes track.
Oh, they put it over there, huh?
Yeah,
it's closer to Brooklyn.
It's right on the Queens Nassau border.
Nice, very cool. Yeah. All right, something I found out today. Oh no, I'm sorry, yesterday. Peter Gabriel has a new album coming out.
Wow, I had no idea.
And did you really have no idea? Of course you had an idea.
It sounds familiar now that we're talking about it, but no.
Dude, wait, so
is it covers?
No. Hold on a second though. So the intelligence that the new Dead Rock has is only King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard intelligence. You didn't know that Peter Gabriel, I think one of your favorite all-time artists, was having a new album come out.
Mine?
Yeah, I thought you loved Peter Gabriel. No?
I think you're thinking of another host of the new Dad Rock.
No. Okay, well maybe. Anyway, what's interesting is 10 of the 12 tracks have already been released, and there was a listening party some time back, so this order is known. So the physical discs, and that's the way it's referenced these days, are coming out in December, and each one is a single, has a light version and a dark version.
Oh, so kind of like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard with their regular play and extended play of the silver chord.
So I'm guessing that they kind of took two songs and say, like, what's the most positive or uplifting or light version you can play, and what's, the counter to that. Should be good. I listened to a bunch today. It was nice, but it was Peter Gabriel. who
Is
left.
that good or bad?
Well,
It just sounds like Peter Gabriel.
it sounds like good Peter Gabriel. It's good.
Okay.
It's not bad. Oh boy.
Yeah.
But he left Genesis in 1975. So this is his
way to bring it all back home.
wait, no, that's Dylan who who actually had a big song in 76. One of my favorite songs of his off a pretty crappy album, I believe, but you know the name of the song. Hurricane came out in 1976.
Desire is a really good album, man.
Really? I'll listen to it again. I just like Hurricane so much.
One More Cup of Coffee.
All right, fine.
Sarah, which was totally parodied by Ween and the song Baby Bitch.
Dude, I actually just got an email from Reddit telling me that a video of the guy from Ween doing a really good Dylan song 17 years ago. He did Idiot Wind, actually. I think it was Gene Ween. Wait, who's the guitarist?
Dean Ween?
Yeah, that one. It was
Dean Ween did Idiot Wind?
Yeah, no, he did Idiot Wind, and it was amazing. He sounds just like Dylan.
I think Rolling Stone recently put out a new updated list of like the best 250 guitarists ever.
Oh yeah, I saw.
Somehow Dean Ween not only was not in the top 10, was not in the top 50, was not on the list. You can't have any credibility if you don't have Dean Ween as a top 250 guitarist ever.
I kind of believe you, especially when they put Malcolmus in like the 90s, which I think is a great guitarist, but
he's very good. They've only ever had one guitarist in that band.
Yeah,
meaning,
I agree.
A lot of bands have 2 or 3 guitarists playing out once. Looking at you, Iron Maiden. Looking at you, King Gizzard. 4 guitars sometimes. One guitar is all they ever needed because Dean Ween just shreds it.
It's really true, man. That's the freedom of 76.
So all of you people who subscribe to Rolling Stone magazine, cancel your subscription.
Do they still have a printed version of that?
I have no idea.
Dude,
do we have a like and
oh my god. I actually check out magazines like once every couple months at like my Barnes and Noble.
The library?
No, Barnes and Noble's the only place where they'll have like lots of magazines. And I don't remember seeing a Rolling Stone, but there's still a lot of paper print for like music, like 20, 30 things.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay.
So, what was happening in 1976? There were magazines, one of them being Rolling Stone, and Dean Ween wasn't really much of a player because he was like 6 years old in 1976. But, who else was having a birthday in 1976?
The US of A?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Literally everybody had a birthday in 1976 that was alive.
Totally. Hey, on July 4th of 1976, there were many outdoor festivals and shows held all over the United States as the country celebrated its bicentennial. Elton John, not an American, performed for 62,000 people in Foxborough, while the Eagles and Fleetwood Mac played at Tampa Stadium.
We're like, hey, you English, work for us.
Dude, Elvis played in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Leonard Skinner and ZZ Top played in Memphis.
Wait, when did Elvis die?
I think it's like not this episode. Did Elvis die? Yeah, I think it's next year. But I think he's having a fine time in Vegas in 76.
So when did Shaft come out?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, well, so okay. So that's what's interesting about this era is like this is probably the first year when the disco songs are actually breaking through. Like Dancing Queen by ABBA. Like it's breaking through. There's a couple others.
You Should Be Dancing by the Bee Gees. So you're starting to get into that era. It's like, the Bee Gees.
No, it's totally. Dude, hold on. My title has. Oh, come on. Let me find my title list that I was listening to today. It had all the perfect songs.
Yeah.
Oh, play that funky music. Play that funky music. I did it right. By Wild Cherry.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So that I agree is starting the rhythm and blues coming over from some of the crossover sounds of the early 70s is now.
Yeah, it's
now coming to the forefront. It's more interesting because I think the corporate production, like classic rock, like we argued last week, peaked in 75, and now in 1976, It's
Yep.
the sequel to 1975. So
It
you
really
get
is.
things like, the Doobie Brothers, taking it to the streets. This is, the birth of yacht rock. You have, Steely Dan has yet another album. You have ABBA at this point. So now it's over polished. All the rough edges were sanded off by 75, and now it's to a shiny, false sheen. And 76 is now ripe for the taking for other genres. And disco.
Dude, I'm Your Boogeyman by Casey and the Sunshine Band came through.
Yeah, that was a Halloween playlist song, man.
Don't Go Breaking My Heart by Elton John and Kiki D.
Yeah, that's the overpolished sheen. That's
Totally.
what I'm telling you, man.
Totally. Even Wings, Paul McCartney's got a song going, Silly Love Songs. Like, he's like, in a sense, like doing a riff on it. A lot of the reggae is from 76 is pretty famous now as well. Legalize It by Peter Tosh. Oh, man. You have War by Bob Marley.
So I think the true classic rock and roll at this point is...
Yeah, it's done. It's dead.
It peaked
Gone.
in 75, and now the title is there for the taking. And there's a lot of genres that are doing that. And bubbling under is the punk scene. We haven't really gotten to a lot of the big punk releases, but in 76, but all those bands are starting. They're gigging. They're writing their songs.
April 23, 1976, the Ramones released their debut studio album, Ramones. April 23, 76.
There it is.
Dude, the Alan Parsons Project on May 1st had Tales of Mystery and Imagination. I actually have that in physical vinyl form.
Right. So that's the overblown, overproduced corporate rock that was too self-indulgent. It was like the dinosaurs.
It really
for
was.
extinction.
A segment we don't have is bands that ended, but like Keith Moon Led Zeppelin's got to be dead by now, right? No?
No, 76 was Presence. They still have a couple more albums yet to go. I think Bonham died in 80.
Oh, okay. You know what?
So,
I think we're just gonna have a segment. When did this person die?
Yeah.
So I know.
We'll come back to that. Yeah, but
Keith
speaking
Moon,
of bands who died or never even really lived, but their album came out in 1976 is the Modern Lovers. Are you familiar with the Modern Lovers?
Oh, is that John Richmond guy or
Jonathan Richman?
Yeah.
Yes. So Jonathan Richman is this,
Quirky
nerdy little
guitarist, yeah.
quirky gay kid from Boston who was the biggest Velvet Underground fan ever.
And that's what happened.
He started to follow them around at the tail end of their career, and then he went back to Boston and he started writing his own songs. And in 1972 he puts together this band called the Modern Lovers, and they record an album. And they're a no-name punk band whose goal is to be the Velvet Underground, who's an underground no-name punk band in 1972 as well. So fast forward to 1976, Jonathan Richman is already in another band called the Modern Lovers. He's putting music out elsewhere, but the original Modern Lovers album came out in 1976, 4 years after being recorded. And this, even though you might say you don't know it, you do know it, because the song Roadrunner.
Yeah, I listened to it today.
That's been in commercials. Yeah, everyone knows that song. Pablo Picasso, which was famously on the Repo Man soundtrack. Pablo Picasso was never called an asshole. That's from that album. But even if you go right through, I think there's 12 or 13 songs on it, all just punk rock classics. It's like the Violent Femmes self-titled album's father. It's in that genre, in that lineage, in that style, but just more bite to it and a little more snarl. And
This is the Jonathan Richman from What About Mary?
Exactly. That's who Jonathan Richman. That's how we know him.
It's so funny. I always confuse him and Lyle Lovett.
And who? Lyle Lovett?
Lyle Lovett. I mean, he has a song I love that I still can't find. I even texted my friend, and I mean, I know the date. I know it's got to be on this album, I think, and I still can't figure out. I guess I don't love it. But Lyle Lovett and Jonathan Richman are kind of, a skinny guy, kind of tall, plays guitar, dark hair.
I don't think Jonathan Richman's tall, is he?
I can't tell. I've never met anyone in person.
I don't picture him tall. Anyway, so funny story about Lyle Lovett. I once went to the David Letterman show one time. I got tickets and I got to see the David Letterman show with Kristen.
When you were working in the building?
Well, no, because he was on CBS. I worked in the NBC building.
I see.
So it was like 5 blocks away.
Yeah.
And Lyle Lovett was the musical guest. The main guest was Will Ferrell. And the other guest was, I think he was the coach of, I think, maybe the Florida Marlins won the World Series that year, and that was their coach.
That's cool.
But the funny thing was, Will Ferrell, while he was on the set, signed something, and he said, "Stay classy." And it was before Anchorman was out. So he was dropping his punchline. He was probably making that movie or had just made it. But he had dropped the punchline well before the movie came out. And this one thing I always remember is stay classy.
That's pretty good. I actually wanted to ask you about the Mon Lovers and it's one of the reasons we started this podcast was so you could tell me things about music I didn't know. And I didn't actually ask you in the script or tell you beforehand, but like literally today, I was looking, I'm like, I've never understood Jonathan Richman and the Modern Lovers. And I understand them a little bit better now, thanks to you.
You got him, man.
So my mom learned to drive in 76, but man, I think the Blue Capri was actually later. Anyway, moral of the story is my dad got a car and it was my mom's car. It was a Blue Capri, but it had 8-track, and I actually meant to look up how those actually work. Maybe I'll bring that back next time because I don't understand. Seems like a really stupid format. I'm not sure what the value was. I don't know how it came to market. I don't know how anyone bought one. But my mom had a Barry Manilow 8-track, and I Write the Songs came out in 1976.
Excellent.
And he does write the songs.
Excellent way to bring it back. He does.
Yes. And
if I remember anything from 1976, it's driving in the back of my parents' 1976 Rabbit, Volkswagen Rabbit, listening to Barry Manilow writing the songs.
Yeah, see?
Make the whole world sing. Yeah, so that's funny that you bring up 8-tracks. I don't know if you remember this. Maybe I didn't even know you then, but my first 2 years of college, my receiver was like my parents' old receiver that had a built-in 8-track, and I just used it to basically hook up my like small CD player to like some speakers, and that was the receiver. And it had an 8-track player in it, and it was the dumbest format. It was long enough for like 6 minutes, maybe. So you'd have like 2 songs and a third one would start, and like halfway through the song, it would like click over to the next one.
Yeah.
It was jarring.
Fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean,
there were, so it was an 8-track and there were 4 tracks. That was the other thing, right?
Oh yeah, which totally. I guess the stereo, is that 4 times
Maybe
2?
That's what it was. Yeah, there was 2 for each.
I mean, there had to be something. Oh, maybe that's what it was.
So,
maybe it was stereo. We might have just uncovered without looking it up, like we did back in college.
All right, we're so smart.
Dude, I'm actually kind of proud of us for like, it's like a math problem, but also a real problem. So stereo, I Write the Music by Barry Manilow.
I write the songs.
Oh yeah, but he also writes the jingles. You know, he wrote the State Farm jingle.
I didn't know that,
dude. He was paid $500 for it, a flat fee. You don't get residuals on that, but at that time it meant a lot of money to him. Do you know that I think he wrote the Band-Aid one? I'm stuck on a Band-Aid and a Band-Aid stuck on me. He wrote that. Dude, he wrote Dr. Pepper.
That's fantastic.
Dude, he has more. Like, I mean, a Stridex, which I don't know if, Jasper's probably going to find out sooner. But like Stridex, like the give your face something to smile about, acne fighting.
Okay.
And McDonald's, You Deserve a Break. Dude.
Wow. This guy's classic.
I love Barry Manilow. And the picture I'm looking at right now, he looks great. Long blonde hair. Good big belt buckle. It's the 73. His shirt's like unbuttoned down to that like weird part between your beer belly. Well, he doesn't have one, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I've never really thought about it. Well, one of the revolutionary things about punk music was the very short songs, almost like a jingle.
Almost. Speaking of punk, Blitzkrieg Bop came out by the Ramones in 76.
Yeah,
And-
well, you mentioned that the Ramones' first album came out, and I guess Blitzkrieg Bop was the big song from that album.
Yeah, and if you think about it, because Blitzkrieg is kind of like a negative word, but Bop's kind of a fun word. It's funny that they put it together, but the Sex Pistols go further, and Anarchy in the UK came out in 76 as well.
Interesting.
And last episode, 75, you were talking about cocaine coming onto the scene, but J.J. Cale put out his famous classic Cocaine in 76.
Well, there you go. He must have observed it as well.
Dude, and I think we have to do a whole episode on Tom Waits at some point, because I'm sure you know a lot about him, and I know nothing, and I think that'd be like a classic old school New Dad Rock show. But The Piano Has Been Drinking was a 1976 song.
That's a great idea about Tom Waits. I prefer his 80s output, so
Great.
maybe when we get to the 80s, we can get into Tom Waits.
I gotta tell you, my favorite song from 1976, and I'm sure that like if I spent even more time on the playlists, I'd find something else. Like 75 had a lot of stuff that this song wouldn't win in 75, right? You'd Wish You Were Here, Blood on the Tracks. But in 76, More Than a Feeling by Boston. I love that song.
There you go, man. There's the yacht rock.
Dude,
The Eagles' greatest hits came out in 76 also.
I still don't like the Eagles, but More Than a Feeling. I don't think I like to hate Boston in general principle because I'm from New York and now I'm from Philly. So like in general principle, I just hate Boston. But the city, not the band. But I've never gotten into like Stevie Miller. I never got into the 70s. This is why this is a fascinating set of episodes, because you see the stuff that's coming up and underneath, and that's stuff I like. I don't like what's on top, but More Than a Feeling is a great song. And was it on the Reservoir Dogs soundtrack?
No, Hooked on a Feeling was.
Oh. Yeah, no,
but you just defined to me what I think the new dad rock is. Like, there's always the classic songs. There's a handful of songs. Like, I usually like a Steely Dan song. You like a Boston song. You know, we talked about The Doors recently. There's always those classic bands. And, you know, I love plenty of Led Zeppelin songs. Don't Play Kashmir.
Breakdown by Tom Petty came out in 76.
Is that his first album? Damn the Torpedoes?
Oh, I think so. So yeah, I think that's his first single. It's the first time we hit it. That's actually what I've been wondering is like, am I missing things? That's why I want to keep asking, is this person dead yet? Because I figured it'd come up during the research when we do the timeline. Anyway, I guess people live longer than I thought. So as we get in the late 70s, things get turbulent. And that, folks, is the magic of 1976. A year filled with timeless classics, pivotal moments, and unforgettable music.
We've taken you on a journey through the sonic wonderland of 76, from the Eagles' Hotel California to the punk rebellion of the Ramones.
We've explored the rise of disco, the birth of punk, and the cultural events that shaped the industry. It was a year like no other.
Whether you're a devoted fan of 70s rock or a curious listener eager to discover the sounds that define 1976, we hope you enjoyed this Tutamonde episode.
As we wrap up this musical time warp, we want to thank you for joining us on the new Dad Rock.